Welcome, everyone, to the just before Halloween episode of Storytime with the Scariest Podcast.
Yep.
I'm Robin Grace. This is Adam Diaz.
Woo! You thought I wasn't going to do it, but I did it. There you go.
Oh my God, okay. And we're thankful that everyone's joining us today.
Indeed. So I'm really excited. We're going to be doing 4 stories like normal. We're not doing our supersized episode like last week. And I think they're pretty good. I've been told they're pretty good. But we're going to be reading homegrown horrors. Now, Robin, what is a homegrown horror?
So, homegrown horrors are the tales of paranormal, supernatural, spiritual experiences that you folks, your family, your friends have experienced and you have generously shared with us.
Indeed. And if you have a story you would like to share with us, please email us. Email address is storytime@scarish.com, or you can go to our website, scarish.com, and click on Contact Us. Fill that out and send it our way, or hit us up on all of our, or any of our, I should say, social media platforms. We have Facebook, which is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. Instagram is @scarishpodcast, and Twitter is @scarishpod. So am I going first, or are you going first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and move into my first homegrown horror of the evening. This one is from Becca on Instagram. And it starts out like this. It was actually a conversation that eventually led to a story, and it goes, "Oh, I wanted to mention that I had a really weird experience in a house I was living in like 4 years ago. We had a lot of roommates, like 5, and tensions were pretty high. There was typical household drama like dishes not being cleaned." I put cleansed, but it's clean. Dishes not being clean, and just overall the house being a mess. And finally it got to the point where like I personally would clean up the dishes for those people. And then I noticed that an even bigger mess would be back the very next day. And then I confronted them like, "Yo, what the fuck? I'm not your maid." It's the worst thing to have roommate drama. Like, you never want to have drama in the place where you're supposed to be relaxing. They swore that it wasn't them and similar stuff was going on in their rooms. It got to the point that the random messes would happen all the time. We started hearing noises in our crawl space. No attic. It was a 1-story house. It sounded like the walking of something bigger than a dog but smaller than a person, if that makes sense. We investigated and looked inside the crawl space to see what was up there. I don't know if we expected a person to be living up there or something, but needless to say, we didn't find anything. That's when we started hearing random banging on our bedroom doors in the middle of the night. It got to the point where I couldn't sleep, and when I did, I would wake up not able to move. Shit was so scary. I couldn't take it anymore, so one of my roommates and I went to the local metaphysical store and got some sage to try and see if we could get some of the negativity out of the house. I was convinced that it was a demon that was like feeding off the negative, angry energy in the house. I was going full-on supernatural hunter on it too. It's weird because it seemed to work and drove out the problem roommates too, LOL.
That's hilarious.
So there you go. For anyone that's having a housing dispute, all you really need is to sage the house and they'll eventually just fuck right off. It's probably one of those things where it's like, did you just burn sage? Ugh, I'm going to go.
Off. That's just funny.
Cool. So yeah, fun stuff. Thank you for saying that, Becca. We really appreciate it.
All right. So this one is from Lunabin, who is always super supportive of us and who's in the chat right now, I believe.
Lunabin also won that giveaway that we did recently.
Yeah, which I need to pack up.
Shout out to Lunabin.
I will get that done, I promise. Just not this weekend.
It's her birthday week and we're going out of town.
All right. So the email, it's titled The Jersey Devil and a Murderous Doll. Hello, spooky friends. I sent you guys an email with some of my paranormal experiences a while ago, and y'all just read them on stream the other day. That sounds, oh no, it's August. So, I mean, that's a while ago, right? August.
It's like 2.5 months, yeah.
Since I've joined the Discord and the Facebook group, I've been inspired to sit down and type out some more of my experiences, as well as some friends' stories. I have a lot of them, so I'm going to divide them up into a few emails. Feel free to share these on the podcast. Anyways, on to the stories. The Jersey Devil story. So the Jersey Devil story goes, as I mentioned in the Discord, I'm from New Jersey. And so is my sister. What? And a good number of the students from my high school lived in the area that was supposed to be the Jersey Devil's territory. Personally, I've never had any kind of sighting or experience involving the cryptid, but a friend of mine did. My friend tells me that he was driving home down some back roads from work one night when we were in high school, and he saw what he thought was a deer on the road. This is pretty normal, so he just slowed down and kept driving closer, assuming the deer would cross when his car got closer. However, as he approached the creature, it didn't move, and he realized it was larger than a deer.
Oh, God.
According to my friend, he was able to get pretty close before it turned towards him, leaned back on its back legs, and jumped/leapt across the road almost like a kangaroo. My friend told me that he couldn't see it super well in his headlights, but he claims it looked like a really thin, really big horse with wings. It was a Pegasus. And that when it looked at him, he felt terrified, like it knew he was there and it could hurt him if it wanted to. The skeptic in me says that it could easily have been a horse, since the farms around that area aren't uncommon.
But it had wings.
It's a Pegasus, I'm telling you. It came straight out of Hercules. But the believer in me hopes it actually was the Jersey Devil. That'd be really cool.
I understand the I want to believe thing, but I'd also be absolutely terrified if I saw something where it's like, that looks like the Jersey Devil.
I mean, I always want to believe, but if I did actually come across Nessie, I bet I'd be scared.
I'm like, yo, shout out JD, what's up? Take a selfie with me.
JD. Second story is titled The Doll That Tried to Kill Me. All I can hear is his ears. Like
it's the tag that you won't let me take off these fucking things.
Yeah, because it's important. Oh my gosh.
Hope you can all hear it. It kind of sounds like a wind chime and maracas mixed together.
It's like the wooden wind chimes. Have you ever? Yeah, like or bamboo ones. Boom, 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 yeah,
that's exactly what wind chimes. I know you guys just were like, "Holy shit, those were wind chimes."
Oh my god,
it was my mouth. I did.
So this one took place when I was around 7 or 8 years old. I have an older sister. We'll call her Violet. And growing up, we were friends with the neighborhood kids because they were also a brother and sister about our ages. That's literally how my friend and I, growing up, became closer friends. Oh god, because I was the same age as her, and her younger sister was the same age as my younger sister, so it worked out perfectly that we all went to school together in the same grades and in the same classes. So I totally understand that. Anyway, so we'll call the neighbor girl Sandra and her brother Tim. One day, we went over to Sandra and Tim's house to play. Me and Tim were on the first floor while Violet and Sandra were playing downstairs in the finished basement. Why? Why would the two little girls be playing in the basement?
Why wouldn't they be? It's finished. It's different if it's an unfinished dark basement, but if it's a finished basement...
It's still got the spooky vibes.
It's just like another floor.
It's like you're underground, you know? It's creepy.
It's not like exactly
it's like you're in a giant
It's not like someone's like, go play in the bomb shelter. Wow.
Okay. I don't honestly remember what Tim and I were doing, but I remember that we were in the middle of playing a game when both of our sisters ran upstairs from the basement screaming. Exactly. They shouldn't have been down there in the first place.
Shout out to Captain Fake Guy, who resubscribed for the 4th month using his Twitch Prime. I just want to... Her. My bad. It's hard to tell. All I know is it just says Captain.
Yeah,
shout out to them.
Prime.
Thank you very much.
The girls looked very freaked out, and we asked them what happened. Violet couldn't really talk because she was so scared, but she managed to say something about a doll in the basement. Violet and Sandra asked us to go downstairs and check, even though we were the younger siblings. Okay, so the sisters were older. Okay, that makes sense. All right.
So they send the younger siblings downstairs to check. It's either a prank or it's like cannon fodder, man.
Cannon fodder? Like... I don't know. If we get rid of the younger brothers, it'll be fine. Parents won't even notice.
So messed up.
Now, when my sister and I were kids, we really didn't get along that well. So for Violet to come to me scared, asking for help, meant that she really was shook up. Confused and scared, but wanting to impress my older sister, I told Tim that we should go downstairs and check out what was going on. Tim and I walked into the basement with Violet and Sandra in tow. The girls pointed to a corner in the far end of the basement and told us that's where they saw it. We went to the corner, and I noticed that there were spots of some sort of white dust or powder in a trail. It was cocaine. I followed the spots.
Yeah, that's where my head went to immediately. It's like, there's no ghost down here. It's a coke lab.
I lost my spot again. I followed the spots with my eyes, and they led to a kid's chalkboard. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. That was on the...
So we snorted it just to be safe.
So the kid's chalkboard was on the floor. Stop. The kid's chalkboard was on the floor, propped up against a wall. The board had some scribbles on it, but that's it. Next to the chalkboard was a Cabbage Patch Kids doll and a straw piece of chalk. I'm going to say stray piece of chalk. Do you know what Cabbage Patch Kids are? What they look like? Okay.
You don't remember Cabbage Patch Kids?
No, I know what Cabbage Patch... That's why I'm asking you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was around when they came out.
Yeah, I was around too. So they're like those cute little chubby ones.
The only thing I don't remember is the Boomafoo, which is why I always say it's fake.
I turned
Also,
to...
now that I've admitted that live on an episode, please stop sharing that Zaboomafoo has a granddaughter. It's been shared 50,000 fucking times in the Spooky Friends group. I'm so sick of seeing it there.
Watch now, a million people are just going to do it out of spite. If you fuckers
spam it, I swear to God, I'll probably actually be pretty funny. It'll be pretty funny.
Okay. Oh, man. I don't want to see the Facebook group just riddled with it now because they're doing it out of spite. I turned to Violet and gave her a look that said, "Really?" Violet and Sandra then told us, "Look at the doll's feet." I bent down to check out the doll and noticed that there was chalk dust on the doll's feet and hand, and that the spots of powder I'd noticed on the floor made a path that led right to the doll, like footprints. Now, I was a skeptic when it came to my sister. She was older than me, so she was always pranking me. I turned to tell my sister and Sandra that their joke wasn't funny, but when I turned around, they were gone. I took a step towards where the girls had been and tentatively called out, "Violet?" And then the lights turned off.
Holy shit.
This has got to be a prank, you know? They were like, "Oh, look at that doll. Oh, it creeps you out now? Bye, bitch." You know? It's just...
If it's not a prank, it's terrifying. If it is a prank,
it's a pretty
good prank.
As soon as I called my sister's name, the lights in the basement went out, and I saw the door at the top of the stairs slam shut on its own, leaving me and Tim in total darkness. Tim screamed, "What is that?" from somewhere on my left. I turned in the direction I heard Tim yell from and felt something soft jump at my face. The doll was trying to kill me. I screamed at the top of my lungs, pushed away the doll, and started running in the direction of the door with my hands out since I could still barely see anything. I bumped into Tim, who was right next to me, and the two of us made a beeline for where we thought the door was. We found the stairs, sprinted up, but the door had been locked from the outside. Dude, those girls are bitches.
That's so funny.
That's rude. I start banging on the door and screaming for help when I hear Tim shout, "It's got me!" Oh, God. In panic behind me.
Tim's gone.
I turn around in time to see Tim throw the doll back down the stairs. One of the girls had to be outside. One's downstairs throwing the doll at them in the dark. You know what I mean? Maybe. At this point, we're both losing our shit and start banging on the door, trying to get it open by ramming our tiny 8-year-old bodies into it. That's mean to do to an 8-year-old, man.
Yeah. But it's hilarious. But it's mean. Or it could be the doll is actually sentient and trying to kill them.
Oh my God. We're also screaming for our sisters who disappeared. Then we hear laughing coming from the other side of the door, and all of a sudden it swings open. Tim and I spill out of the basement in panic, only to see Violet doubled over in laughter. I hear laughter also coming from behind us and whip my head around to see Sandra at the bottom of the stairs also laughing her ass off. That's when it made sense. Our sisters had pranked us. How mean, dude.
It's so funny, though.
After Violet and Sandra stopped laughing, they told us what happened. Our sisters had taken the doll, put chalk on its feet and hand, scribbled on the board, and make chalk footprints themselves. Then they had gotten us to go downstairs, and when we were preoccupied with the doll, Violet had snuck upstairs and Sandra had hidden herself under some beanbag chairs. It's a pretty good hiding spot. The basement was one of those that only had a light switch at the top of the stairs. I hate when they do that.
They do that for so many of them,
Well, I
too.
like when they have a switch at the top of the stairs, but you should
have one at the bottom, too.
Right. I mean, just in case, right?
We had a switch in our basement. We had a switch for the lights to the staircase. And then the switch for the actual basement itself was at the bottom of the stairs. So it's like if the light was out in the staircase, like you better change that thing before you get on the basement. Otherwise, you're going to have that long, dark run up the basement stairs. That's how it was for me growing up.
So this says that the light switch was on the top of at the top of the stairs outside the door.
Oh, that's even more fucked up.
Yeah, I think it should be on the inside. Maybe have another switch on the outside. Electricians, let us know if that's even possible.
Whoever built that, they built it specifically so that they could play pranks on people in the basement.
Yeah, so light switch on the outside. When Violet heard me call her name, she turned off the lights, slammed the door, and locked it. Sandra told us that after the lights went out, she'd grabbed the doll and thrown it at Tim, and Tim freaked out thinking that the doll had jumped on its own. He threw it away himself, and it hit me, which is when I thought the doll was trying to kill me. Once Tim and I were at the top of the stairs, Sandra had found the doll again and thrown it up the stairs at us again to make us think it was following us.
That's so good. I wish they would have recorded it.
It would have been so funny. It's
also, I'm very sorry this happened to you, Lunabin, but holy shit, this is hilarious.
It's totally like that guy down in the basement flipping the on and off switch.
Oh, yeah, the breakers.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a good video. Or like when they do the fucking disappearing kid act, where like they do the disappearing kid, and then like they all act like the kid's actually
and then the
invisible.
Kid just starts bawling.
And then they tell him like, sit down on the couch. I'm gonna put my arm around you and take a picture. But they've already taken a picture with that person, with their arm around nothingness, and then they show it to them like, oh my God, like bring me back. It's so funny.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
All this happened 15-ish years ago, and since then, our neighbor friends have moved away. I asked my sister last weekend if she remembers this story, and as soon as I brought it up, she burst out laughing again.
It's hard not to.
Glad to know my terror is still funny to her. That's such an older sister thing to do, though.
It's an older sibling thing for sure.
That's all for my stories this time. As I said, I have a bunch more, but I don't want the emails to turn into novels. I'll try sending more in a few weeks. I hope you enjoyed my stories, and I'm excited to hear you read them. Thanks again for making such amazing content and building such a positive community. Keep on creeping on, Luna. Thank you so much. That's just such a funny story.
Thank you for sending that story. It's amazing. And thank you for being part of this positive community. We sincerely appreciate you, Luna.
It's nice because there's like the Jersey Devil story that's like,
creepy thing, might have been a cryptid. And the next one's like, here's a prank my asshole older sibling pulled on me to make me think a doll was
It's a nice
me.
mix. So
it's like, and that's the thing too, is if there was a recent Child's Play movie coming out, like that's even more extra terrifying if you're 8 years old, because it's like you were brought up to play with all these toys, or maybe you were, I don't know. I had toys, I had dolls, I had all that stuff. And then all of a sudden there's a movie that comes out where it's like one comes to life and fucking kills you. So it's like if you had that happen around the same time where they had these movies come out, it would have been extra terrifying, which is just so much funnier.
Imagine it coming out and then having your birthday be right after that movie comes out, or it was a miniseries, right?
It was a miniseries, yeah.
And then
your
parents have already booked the clown, but you're like, I don't want a clown at my birthday. That's horrifying.
It's like he's just going to stay in the sewer and hand out balloons, but you got to really reach in there to get them. It's like that's a really good way to throw a birthday after that movie came out.
Yeah.
So right on. Good stuff, Luna. Okay, I'm going to move into my second and my last email of the show. This one's subject is definitely share on the podcast. So that's a good way to get that out. It is from Cody. It just says, to start out, Cody, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I kind of like opening them like that.
Nice.
Hello again.
It's very straight and to the point,
It
right?
is. Like, Cody's not fucking around. Hello again to my favorite podcast hosts ever.
Aw, thank you.
Thank you. So you may remember I sent you my astral projection / sleep paralysis story, and I think you read on Storytime episode 39. I've listened to a lot of episodes, so I could be wrong. Shrugged shoulders dramatically with clueless look on his face. So I have other stories, but this one is probably the most haunting of them all, and definitely the one I remember the most vividly. So here goes nothing. A little backstory for this. My family has always been musically inclined, including me. My uncle specifically is where I got my inspiration because he has always been more like an older brother to me, being that we were only 11 years apart, and also because my parents were teenagers when I was born, which meant a lot of being woken up at 4:30 in the morning so my dad could take me to my Mimi's house,
Aww.
in parentheses, my paternal grandmother, while both he and my mom would go to their jobs.
That's a really cute nickname for your grandma.
Mimi?
Yeah.
It is.
I am wondering what our kids will call their grandma.
Probably grandma.
Really?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Probably grandma, at least for my mom.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I don't know what the one is for you guys. So we'll see.
Oh, yeah. For you guys. What do you mean by you guys?
I'm going to keep going. I kind of grew up with my Aunt Tamara and Uncle Dustin, both as this was the routine, for 8 to 9 years or so, even when I started kindergarten. My Mimi was the only one to take me to school, and, you know, she was also the one who I would hide behind for the first week of school because I was shy and didn't know anyone yet. Thanks, Mimi. Love you, girl. Anyways, getting back to it now, my uncle played in several different bands growing up, and even still today, he is playing with a band who are important in the story soon. Back in 2009, when I was 18, so you're 28 now. Sorry, I just had to do some quick math. Got my abacus out.
Some quick math? Jeez.
Yep, some quick math really fast. Someone get these ants off my skin. My dad's church, so I've done a meth reference and a cocaine reference so far this episode, and I'm pretty sure this episode is going to be like a 35, 40-minute episode at best. Anyways, they were 18 in 2009. My dad's church, mine too at the time, wanted to do a New Year's talent show for their members, so the idea came about of forming a band and covering some church-appropriate but not necessarily religious songs that everyone would know. So at this point, please tell me you're going to name your band Faith Plus One, like that South Park episode.
Faith Plus One.
So at this point, we're trying to figure...
Do you remember songs from that?
From Faith Plus One, from the South Park episode? Yeah. They basically took every love song and turned Baby into Jesus.
Well, there's one song...
And I just want to feel you deep inside
the one
me,
that I remember from that
Jesus.
episode is I'm going to finger bang you
That's not the
into
same
my heart.
episode.
Are you sure?
That's the one where they form a boy band called Finger Bang.
Okay. Okay, different episode.
Faith Plus One is an episode where they're all in a band together and they're playing instruments and they suck, and Cartman sucks and they're mean to him, so he decides he's going to quit, start his own band, and he'll get a platinum album before anyone else does. Shout out to Dixie Normus, which is a great name, who just followed us on Twitch. And so he decides he's going to form a Christian rock band because they have a built-in audience. And all you have to do is cover songs and replace lyrics with Jesus instead of baby.
Oh, okay.
So he goes and gets Token to be his bass player and Butters, I think, to be his drummer. And they form a band. And they get 1 million album sales because all the Christians buy up their albums. And so he has this big party to celebrate that he got there before Stan and Kenny and Kyle. And they present him his award, and it's a myrrh album.
Oh.
Because in Christian rock album sales, you can only go gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And he's like, so I'll never get a platinum album? And they're like, no, but you can go double myrrh.
Oh, my God.
And then I'm pretty sure he says, fuck Jesus a bunch and gets struck by lightning. There you go. I just gave you an entire episode of South Park.
Does that lead up to the movie?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. There's no continuity up until the movie. And the movie doesn't continue over, I don't think, like for anything else either. So this has been your South Park Corner with Adam. Hope you enjoyed it. I haven't watched that show in about 4 or 5 years. Not because I don't like it. It's not just like saving it. One day I'm just going to have a huge binge of South Park and it's going to be amazing. And I'm going to get back to this story now. So at this point, we're trying to figure out who to have in the band. And the decided lineup was to be my uncle, my younger brother, my dad, another church dude, the preacher, and myself. We had a couple practices at our preacher's house since he was the drummer. And it's not the easiest packing those up for travel.
No.
Let me tell just you, LOL. The rest of our practices were at my uncle's house, in parentheses, which was a trailer home, because he had a full drum set the preacher could use, plus every other goddamn instrument you would ever need in a rock band. It's pretty nice.
That's
pretty
nice.
Stacked.
My music teacher in high school, when I was in choir, oh man, some days he would just get super pissed. And one day he took one of the drumsticks and just fucking fisted the drumstick through the snare drum.
You could say stabbed. Not sure where you went with fisted.
I don't know. Well, anyway, it went through the whole entire thing.
Wow.
And we just sat there like, did that really just happen? Another day, he took the CD, like a CD disc, that the choir music.
Compact disc.
Yeah, the CD was on, like the background music to play while we sing, you know? He took it and he just was so pissed off and he just like crushed it in his hand.
That's amazing.
It was just...
It's like Thanos crushing a fucking stone.
It was really, really intense. So this music story is just like
sounds like
bringing
Whiplash. I'm pretty sure I've seen this fucking movie. I still can't get over the fact that you said he fisted something when he stabbed it. He finger banged that drum.
Shut up. Okay, go.
All right, gonna get back to it. Where
You're
was
not
I?
gonna put a note on it.
Fuck no, it's a great story. I'm leaving that in.
Okay.
The last practice we ever had at his house was in late December, and with only a couple weeks before the New Year's show, we had to cram as much practice as possible. So we were gonna spend like 5 hours there that day, but then our session was cut short after only like an hour and a half because of what comes next. Boom, boom, boom. Side note.
Does it actually say that in the email?
No.
Oh, okay.
What it does say is, side note, I'm freaking out as I finish this story. All right, strap in, folks. It's about to get freaking real. So to give you a visual, my uncle's wife, Wendy, is Caucasian, has a very pale complexion, and she's around 5'9" and very thin, like almost bony. Sideways smiley face. I don't know if it's a smiley face or it's just a weird frowny face. And it was winter, so as you can imagine, white peeps get ghost-like white and almost translucent when we're standing outside in the cold.
Okay.
Okay, this is another tangent. I read today that the reason that white people like cheese so much is because they have a genetic mutation, Caucasian folks do, that allow them to be less lactose intolerant than the rest of the population, to the point where it's like a 5% rate of the full population. And I was like, this is fascinating. And it had like a list for like every race throughout the world and a graph. And I was like, whoever the hell sat down and decided I'm going to find
Asians
out
on it?
all this information about cheese is my hero. Asians are pretty high up. I think they're like 20 to 40% lactose intolerant.
Yeah, I mean, my sister's lactose intolerant. I'm pretty sure most of the time.
I've had to pull over for your sister because she's like, I had cheese. I'm like, can you stop?
Yeah.
Like, my tummy hurts. And I'll be like, sure. Okay, I'm going to get back into the story. I know we've had a lot of weird tangents on this one. The back door was kind of their main entrance because the front porch was in disrepair. The back door was adjacent to their master bedroom door at a 90-degree angle to the right, like when you come in the back door, turn directly right and you're facing the bedroom door.
Okay.
We were practicing our set list in their bathroom, and we had just finished going through the set list for the second time, so we were taking a break and just having a pillow talk sesh.
Aw,
totally joking, BT dubs.
Oh, okay.
But for real, it's like pillow talk is supposed to be after your bone. But for real, it was just mostly talking about the song. It's because you're laying on a pillow.
I just assumed it's like girlfriend, sleepover, pillow talk.
I think pillow talk is technically when you're like just sleeping together. It doesn't necessarily mean like because you just boned, because then it'll be like backseat cushion talk. I mean, not everyone bones in a bed is what I'm saying.
Cushion talk.
Okay. Gonna keep going.
Okay, thanks.
But for real, it was mostly talking about the songs and the show and whatnot. So I'm sitting directly across the room from my uncle and the bedroom door, which we kept open because only our band was home, when all of a sudden the back door flew open so hard it smacked against the wall on the outside, loud as fuck. This wasn't too weird because the door was hard to close all the way, and it was very windy outside, but what is weird was that I saw my aunt's arm outside the door as if she opened it to come in, and the wind took over from there, but almost as quickly as I saw her arm, it was gone. And believe me, it's so bizarre to try to even recall how long I was able to see the arm, because it seemed like just a flash, but simultaneously it was there long enough to burn the image into my brain. The arm was long and very, very white, with long, bony fingers, so you can imagine why I assumed my aunt was home from work and coming inside.
Long.
I hope your aunt isn't listening to this,
fingers?
or aunt, or however I've said it a million different ways, but I kind of hope she is too, so she can be like, you know what, fuck you. Like, I hope this is a demon that's coming after you.
That's so mean. If I said that about one of my aunts, they'd totally murder me.
I'd be so pissed. Okay. So while the preacher and my uncle were laughing after getting startled by the slamming door, my uncle catches my gaze as I was staring at the open door with confusion. His smile faded instantly into concern at what I was looking at, considering the door was right behind him, and he asked what was wrong, and I replied with asking if Wendy was home. His eyes got big and he was like, no, she shouldn't be off for like 3 more hours. And I told him I just saw her, and then suddenly I'm pretty sure everyone felt that feeling. Hope you can hear the air quotes.
The creepiness.
At the same time, because we all jumped up and started heading outside. And of course, my Aunt Wendy was definitely not there at all. Because why would she be, right? After all, I'm submitting this story to my scariest friends. So now we're all in the doorway, confused and freaked out. The preacher literally got scared and said he didn't feel safe and proceeded to run to his car, set his GPS to Nope Town, and floored it.
Oh my god.
That's the holy man, and he fucking bailed on you. That is messed up shit. Then my dad...
Jesus can't help you now.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm out of here. I didn't sign up for this. Then my dad and... I'll pray for you, Mom.
He's like, holy man. No, I'm the music man.
Oh, God. Then my dad and brother and church dude left. I had already made plans to stay the night and hang out with my uncle, so against all instincts, I stayed there. So all your instincts are like, abandon uncle now. After everyone was gone, we went in and he asked me to describe what I saw, which I thought was a weirdly specific request. But I told him, and he told me that he was almost positive it was a demon and that she goes by the name Ellis. And he explained that the singer of his regular band at that time was in a satanic cult-like religion. Apparently, Ellis is their quote-unquote god, and he showed me drawn pictures on the internet of what she supposedly looked like.
I have chills, no!
And it looked exactly like what I saw.
That's horrifying.
While he was showing me this, an old family photo in the living room fell off the wall and onto the couch, which could have easily been due to the door slam, knocking the frame loose from the nail, but then gravity won. But the timing still scared me.
Yeah. Well, it's like that scene in Constantine. Where she's sitting in her hotel room or her apartment or whatever, right? She's sitting in her hotel room after her sister had died.
The phones start ringing?
And all the phones start ringing. And you're just like, okay, that's very strange.
I love that scene because it doesn't have to fit anywhere in the movie. It's just something super fucking creepy that happens. It's just so scary. And they never explain it.
You could put it in any point of the movie and it would make sense, and it's just super duper scary. And that's just the timing thing, you know? I mean, you're in the middle of this thought process because she was just watching that video of her sister.
And her sister turns around and says Constantine. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what is so freaky because the timing and the phones just go off. That's what it reminds me of, where you're talking about this thing and then the picture just falls off. Oh my God.
I really like that movie.
I love Constantine.
Okay. Dustin also told me that he and the singer just a week prior had a conversation about the fact that after their band practices, the singer would pretend to leave and instead he would use dirt near the driveway to draw ritualistic symbols, and he would circle the house chanting some kind of curse for an hour before leaving. And he had also been drawing these symbols on little pieces of paper and tucking them into hiding spots inside the house, as well as kind of doing the same thing, just perhaps quieter or more discreet, seeing as my uncle never noticed him doing this.
What?
He only found out when he discovered one of those pieces of paper by accident, and then found 3 more, and he started asking his bandmate some serious questions. The singer told him everything, but he thought it as more of a funny prank and laughed about it. Like, what the fuck? Cursing a man with demonic presence as a prank? Okay, I can dig it, actually. Okay, so that's pretty fucking messed up.
Yeah.
Who would do that to a friend? I mean, I've pulled a lot of pranks in my day on people, so...
I don't prank.
I don't think I would demonic prank my friends, like, just so you know, you're going to get possessed. Okay, hilarious, right?
My friend and I, growing up in high school, we did go through a phase where we're like, okay, we're going to learn all this Wiccan stuff, and we're going to, like, learn to do all these spells, and we're going to do it. And we never did it. We were just so... We're too chicken.
I've poisoned a friend before as a prank, but I have never made someone possessed. I know this
story. Okay.
Yes.
He didn't actually poison his friend.
I kind of poisoned my friend.
Okay, he just
when medication says recommended dosage 1 to 2 and you give them 12, and they're really messed up afterwards, it's a little bit of a poison.
I mean, it was just X-Lax.
I X-Lax poisoned a friend. So he kept eating it, though. That's on him. He wasn't paying any attention to what it was.
That stuff tastes different. That's what I don't understand.
He's an idiot. I gave him 3...
It's like dry.
I gave him 3 pieces. I told him it was a crunch bar, and he didn't notice there wasn't a crunch. So as far as I'm concerned, at that point, it's on him. And he ate the 3 pieces, and he's like, more. So I'm like, all right. So I gave him 6 pieces, because they're broken apart like Hershey's pieces. There's only 12 in the fucking package. So I gave him another 6, and he crams it into his mouth, and he just starts chewing. He's just like, this crunch bar tastes really bad. And then the last 3, I was like, finish it up. He's like, no. I was like, be a man. No balls. No balls.
Oh my God, you're horrible.
So he took the last 3 and ate it. And then 12 hours later when it kicked in, we were on the roller coasters at Busch Gardens, and he ran off and almost shit his pants.
You're horrible. Oh, okay.
Okay, let's get back into this, because this has more to it. We're about to finish this up.
Okay, go.
To this day, I will never forget what I saw, and now I'm even more reassured in it than before, because I only told my uncle about seeing the arm. No one else. And like 6 months ago, I brought it up in one of those family reminiscing conversations, only referring to the door flying open, but my brother told me in private that he thought he saw our Aunt Wendy opening the door that day, but then she was gone, and he assumed maybe it was just his mind playing tricks. The scary thing is he described that he saw up just past her elbow, which he had the best vantage point, whereas I only saw halfway up the forearm, and given how accurate the trajectory was matching up, I knew I wasn't just seeing things. So I think the real loser here is your Aunt Wendy. It's like, she looks like a terrifying, hideous demon, is what I'm hearing you guys saying over and over. So anyways, that's my demon story. I still have other stories, but like I said, this one haunts my memories the most. Also, just to give some backing details, the band name is Lady Sin, which the singer, of course, chose. And if you read its initials, LS, and say it quickly enough, it sounds like Ellis, the demon we supposedly encountered. And if you look at the album cover, which you can find on iTunes, Google Play, and maybe Spotify, it's a black background with the initials in fire, plus a bunch of satanic-looking symbols all in a circle. They are playing together again, but my uncle is a strong in faith Christian, and let's just say there were ground rules made that you would never expect to have to make. Like, hey there, I won't preach to you, but you don't get me possessed. Deal? It's a pretty solid condition to have on that, I'd say. Also, lately, I've been having little noises and weird shit happening. That's not good.
That's not good.
At home, which scares me more than the idea of, quote, ghosts, is that they came to my house for like 6 hours so he could use my band room to record vocals while he's in town. And believe me, I've checked for anything he could have possibly left behind, because fuck that demon. Not today, Satan. I love your podcast so much. That? It's in there.
Okay.
I love your podcast so much. You guys have gotten me through so much stress and many monotonous work days. Currently listening to Mermaid/MWD topic, episode 71.
MWD. What's MWD?
Trying to think of it. I'm going to finish the email and then I'll know.
Okay.
Ariel, I know you're really out there. Eventually I'll get around to sending pics of my omen babies. Peace out, y'all.
Aw.
That was a really good one for Halloween.
That's
especially
a really good one. Yeah.
If I had a friend or bandmate or even a relative who planted shit around my house so that creepy stuff would happen to me, I would be pissed. I wouldn't just be like, hey, I get it, it's a prank and it's a funny joke. And it's probably because my dad raised me where it's like, you don't bring stuff home. And if someone's trying to lure stuff to your house, that's just like them's fighting words, y'all.
My my family is very superstitious. So any little thing, it's like you're going to bring the spirits to you if you do that.
You're not allowed to whistle at night, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you're not supposed to do because it's just asking for it. Also,
we need to have another superstition episode.
I've been having really strange dreams for the past couple nights. Maybe not last night, but I had really scary. I told you guys about the nightmare I had with the hotel room and the maid coming in and sucking on my fingers.
Sucking on my fingers like you wanted me, calling me.
And then I started reading. Thank you so much, Tan Lung, for subscribing. I am currently reading a webtoon called Ghost Wife. And
Mongolian Deathworm.
Oh, okay. Cool.
You're welcome. Keep going.
Nice. So webtoon is like this little scrolling comic thing, and Ghost Wife is about this girl that sees what she thinks is like a monster or a ghost demon type thing eating a cat. And that's not the case, but
your webcomics are so weird, dude.
In this, you see a bunch of different creatures like the slit mouth woman type ghost, stuff like that. And so I read it right before bed and then went to sleep and then had horrible dreams about it.
Who would imagine you'd have bad dreams after reading that?
Right? And then I woke up and realized I keep having these bad dreams because I'm laying on my back. And growing up, my mom was always just like, don't lay on your back because the ghosts/demons get in through your tummy. And so I'm just like, oh.
I am mostly filled with ghosts/demons apparently then. So I got a big old tummy.
So yeah.
Right on. Good stuff. Enjoyed this. So before we move on to this next email, this is something we've been discussing tonight with the chat, and I decided that I was going to bring it into the actual episode. So I am wearing a hat right now for Halloween, okay? And it's this really, really nice hat I got from Tokyo Disney with the 35th anniversary on it. And I know I was doing it earlier, and I probably left it in the episode where I'm just like shaking the tag on the back of it, because Robin won't let me take the tag off. And there are people who don't take tags off of anything. There are also people that don't take like screen plastic off of TVs and monitors and cell phones. So I'm going to group you guys all together. So there's hashtag Team Tag. If you're one of the people that don't take the tag off or the screen plastic, that's who you are. And I really want to know how many of you there are, because I thought Robin was crazy, but apparently there's more. And then for people who are normal like me, do hashtag Team No Tag or hashtag Team Normal. So I'm very curious on this one to see what you folks have to say. All right, now I'm finally going to let you do your email.
Okay, so this next email is titled A Feel-Good Story for Your Viewing Pleasure, which is a nice ending to tonight's story time.
I like it.
Hey, Robin and Adam. Hello.
Hello.
I just discovered you guys on Spotify. Fuck yeah, Spotify. That's literally what is in the email.
Really?
Okay. About a week ago now, and I'm only on episode 15, but I have this thing where I have to listen to all podcasts from the beginning regardless of how many episodes there are.
Same.
I'm not sure if you guys will read this on the show, but I'd love it if you do. I was just listening to the Feel Good episode, and it made me think of a feel good story of my own that I recently experienced the last few days. My grandfather passed away about 11 years ago, and I was very close with him. That is very unfortunate. I come from a single-parent home, and my grandfather was like a father figure and a grandfather to me, so losing him was like losing a parent. I was only 13 at the time, so on top of going through the typical agony of puberty, I was also dealing with this traumatizing loss. A few days ago, I had a dream that my grandfather appeared in. It's not unusual for me to see him in my dreams, as he appears quite often, but this time was different for some reason. I was talking with a friend on my deck and looked behind him to see my grandfather sitting in a plastic chair. I didn't think much of it. He smiled at me and I smiled back. He looked exactly how I remember him looking. I went back to talking to my friend, and when I looked again, my grandfather had disappeared, and I knew it was because he had just stopped in to visit me. That's really sweet.
That is really sweet.
That's super sweet.
Apologies for shaking my tag during your story.
You're an asshole.
I don't know, it just bothers me.
So the next night... Oh, okay, hold on. Not the next night, but the night after that, he heard... Fuck. That's not what he heard, okay?
I was like, that's so scary.
Not the next night, but the night after that, he appeared in my dream again. This time, he and I were both sitting next to each other in plastic chairs on my deck. That's cute. I felt at peace for the first time since his passing. We just sat there, enjoying one another's company. I didn't even realize I was dreaming until I woke up. The dream was so realistic that I thought I was actually sitting on my deck with him, how we used to do when I was little. The guy appeared on the deck in front of us, and my grandfather said, "He's a good one, Molly." And I looked at my grandpa and smiled. Mind you, I'm single and have been for a very long time, so I have no idea who that guy was.
Wow.
Right after he said those words, I woke up and I didn't ever find out who this guy was.
That sucks.
It's like in
I was so sure this is going to be your husband.
It's like in Once Upon a Time where the evil queen is told, hey, the love of your life, your soulmate, is going to be at this bar and he has this tattoo. And
it's Robin Hood.
And
spoilers.
She never goes in there. And
she
it's
does
just
find him, though.
Yeah. Fucking Forever Later.
Is that the name of the show? Forever Later?
No. Once Upon a Time Later.
Happily Forever After.
But right after waking up, I felt like I had really actually spent time with my grandpa for the first time in 11 years, and I felt peace in my heart. On top of him appearing in my dreams, he leaves me dimes. Whenever I find a dime, I know it's him letting me know he's there if I need him. Dimes are said to be linked to angels, and I want to believe that he is truly my guardian angel.
I wonder what the representation is of that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Sorry if this was super long. Love your podcast and can't wait to be finally caught up on everything. Love you guys. Molly. P.S. Adam Zabumafu is fucking real.
Whatever. I was about to say something nice, Molly, but you ruined it. We all know fucking Zabumafu is real, okay? I was just left out of Zabumafu, so Zabumafu can suck it. So, just saying.
All my chat disappeared.
However, what I will say is that was an amazing story. Thank you for sending that in. And it's always really, really nice when you feel like you still have a connection to someone that's passed away, because it's like you feel like they're still there, and it'll carry you through some harder times. So thank you very much, seriously, for sending that in. Hashtag fuck Zabumafu.
Thank you so much, everyone who joined us. If you'd like to support us financially, how can they do that?
Wow, you're just skipping over all that other stuff. You can go over to patreon.com/scarishpodcast, sign up for a monthly donation. They start at $1, go all the way up to like $1,000 a month. We obviously recommend the $1,000 a month tier. That's pretty cool.
Do we have $1,000 tier?
I think it's actually a $250 or a $500. So whatever you want to do, you can do as low as $1. But those are monthly donations, so they'll come out automatically, and those definitely help us keep things going. You can also go to coffee.com/scarishpodcast, coffee spelled KO-FI.com/scarishpodcast, and make a one-time donation that just drops into that. We share it on all social medias. We thank you so much for your donation, and that goes to upgrading the studio setup, which we did. We have our new computer, which is amazing. It helped us a lot. We're working out a few tweaks, but it definitely is a much better system by the fact that our fan didn't kick on the laptop like it was about to die, because it's not running it anymore. It just runs my emails now and my chat. And that's thanks to you folks, which is amazing. If you have a story you want to send us, Robin, how can they do that?
So if you feel like
if you motherfuckers.
If you folks want to send us your homegrown horrors, so those are, as we've said, your tales of paranormal, supernatural, hilariously coincidental, scary stories.
Or pranks that your shitty older siblings pulled on you.
Could be to you, your family members, your friends. You can send them to storytime@scarish.com, but also feel free to message us on Facebook, facebook.com/scarish. Podcast. We also have a Twitter that's not even a thing. So @ScaryishPod on Twitter, Instagram @ScaryishPodcast. So yeah, feel free to contact us or post pictures and tag us. And
hit us up.
Show us your omen babies, because we've had a resurgence of those and I absolutely love them.
You can also go to scarish.com, which is our website. You can check out our stores, see all of our episodes, and you can click on contact us and contact us that way. So however you'd like to do it. We appreciate every single one of you who listens, watches, supports us. It is so awesome to have an audience that's actually there and present and engaging, and it's amazing. So thank you one last time. And for those of you who watch this live, happy Halloween tomorrow. Stay safe. For those of you listening to this the day after, happy hangover. And hope this wasn't too hard on your ears. So, Robin, go ahead and send us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.